Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl, Stevie Aisha Mills. Absolutely excited to host another conversation. You know, the Conversation with Stevie is the place where we discover the why behind the what of what our phenomenal guests do. And today, we're going to be talking to a great young lady who is from my state, my home state, y'all. So I'm absolutely excited to talk about the great things that she's doing in what I lovingly call the great state of North Carolina. And so Ryan Pack is the CEO of Impackt Solutions and founder of Savvy Careerists. She leverages her corporate experience with clients such as Eli Lilly, $250 million plus in sales, and human peak performance training to consult individuals and businesses about how to unite spirit and strategy to achieve record-breaking success in their career and business. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome to the Conversation with Stevie. Ryan, how are you today?
Hey, Stevie. I'm absolutely wonderful coming to you from your home state, North Carolina.
Yay.
It's a little dreary here today.
I know. I think it's dreary everywhere. But that's all right. We're going to bring the sunshine.
Absolutely.
Yes. I love what you do. I've been able to speak PR with you. I've been able to research what you do. I wish that you would have been around back when I was on that job I hated. Maybe I would have had a different view in my mind about corporate America.
I'm so grateful. As much as I would have loved it, I am so grateful that you're in your purpose and passion and your calling of helping entrepreneurs like myself with our PR strategies, because, Stevie, you got a gift, so it would have been hidden had you stayed.
That's true. Thank you for that. Tell us about how you got into this field. I think it's dynamic what you do, and I just want to know, what was that spark to say, I need to do this?
Absolutely. So, Stevie, just to kind of back the train up for some of your listeners, I'm originally from the California Bay Area. I grew up about 30 miles east of San Francisco. And so about 3 years ago, I was out there because my youngest sister, she was graduating from undergrad, and during that time, we were all so inspired. It could have been the California sunshine, and we just knew that we wanted to do more, the three of us together. And so we actually had kicked off a blog called Miss Rising to help young women with college, career, health, and mindset. And really what was the precipice for that was that we looked up and realized that, one, being a young woman of color and trying to ascend the ranks in corporate, there was a heck of a lot that I did not know. There came a time and point where all I was doing was working really hard, but I wasn't getting promoted. And it wasn't until I started to uncover certain tactics and tools that things started to change. And similarly for my sisters, they were both Division I athletes, and so they learned the game of some different things. And so they just wanted to share this wisdom and knowledge so that way other people did not have to struggle like we struggled. And so that really was the birth of Savvy Careerists and this whole idea, and it was more so coming from this space that our parents instilled in us of being of service and wanting to do more and make an impact in the world.
Awesome. I love that on so many levels. I think it's important when you work with your family, when you're able to, because everybody cannot. And I think it's important that you just took that and what you were doing for younger women and have utilize everything that you've experienced in corporate America and all these different places to do what you love and love what you do. And I think that's amazing. And so, yes, the West Coast to the East Coast, that's all the way transition.
Absolutely.
How has that been?
It's been the best thing that could have ever happened for me, because it was like the more I kept moving towards the East Coast, the more I began to unfold. The more I began to shed some of the insecurities and the feelings of not being enough, because I'm a little thick, as you like to say, and I'm a little curvy, and I'm short, and I'm black, and I got a booty. And it appears that all those things that I used to probably hate on a little bit being out in Cali, people started to love it the more I started moving past the Mason-Dixon line. So.
Yeah, you know, all of us built in the South kind of built like that, girl. I think we come out like that.
Exactly. So cornbread did not miss me. It's good. It's good stuff. But I am also a big proponent for health as well. But long story short, I think me having experiences and actually what really kicked things off was having the opportunity to attend a historically black college. And I went to Kentucky State University. And that changed the game for me on so many levels. First and foremost, my grandparents and my great-great-grandparents. So I've got a great-great-grandfather, James Coleman. And in March 1888, he purchased our family farm. Can you imagine? Wow. And he used to till that land as a slave. And so that same land is the land that he purchased, the land he once worked on as a slave. He was able to wrestle up, and I think that's where the entrepreneurial spirit was born. He wrestled up $1,200. I don't know. There's some people I know today that can't wrestle up $1,200 in a quick fashion in a hurry. So to do that in 1888 after being a slave, so inspiring. So to be able to walk that land, to be able to be around my people, to walk the same campus that my grandparents walked, because that's where they met in World War II, and that's where my father also attended, that changed the game for me, because at my core I began to connect with other people who did affirm me, and I had some wonderful professors who were Indian and Caucasian and European and all others, but they made me feel like I could do it, and I had a dream, and I wanted to be a chemist. And there they helped me nurture that. They helped me build a confidence that I didn't have. So for me, moving to the East Coast was really the best thing that could have ever happened for me.
Wow. There's something about an HBCU. I am a proud graduate, undergrad and grad, from North Carolina A&T State University, right down the road from where you are, and it just is amazing. It's definitely something that, you know, I'm sure you may have heard of Aggie Pride, and every time I hear that, every time I say that, it has something coursing through my body, and I think that is a special thread that happens through all HBCUs, and especially, you know, the family story that you just shared. That is remarkable, because I do know a lot of people who wouldn't be able to even think, you know, be that creative, tap into that side of their creativity to say, let's get this done, and have that much foresight. So that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I think that what you do really is creating foundational legacy. That's what you do, and I see now why you do that. And I think that it's important that you do that, because a lot of times people don't really value legacy like our ancestors did. And so for you to do the work that you do, that's great. And I want to transition into talking about more what you do now.
Absolutely. Man, you hit on so many great things. And for me, I guess what also standing back, and I know we'll jump forward, is there's nothing like a HBCU band. I just got to slide that in there. And A&T, you guys got a pretty serious one.
I wasn't on the band, but yeah, we did, girl, we did.
So what I do is I try to blend the spirit. I try to blend, like, the practical lessons. I try to blend the stuff that, for all intents and purposes, I did not learn in my institutions of higher education, and no fault of their own. It's just, I realized for me to go from sitting in a cube where I was earning, about $30,000 a year, and here it is, I had graduate degrees and all this other stuff, and I was working hard, and I was staying late, and I felt like I was absolutely drowning and getting nowhere, Stevie, to be honest. And I'm not sure if you felt that way, as either of your listeners have felt that way, too.
Yeah, and I definitely did, and I relate. Well. I felt like I was about to die and literally almost did in that corporate environment. So definitely, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, and so what I really try to do now is I think there is a beauty and a hidden magic to work because it is through our work that we uncover our greatest gifts, our talents, our capacity. But it's really getting clear on what the work is that's meant for us to do and how to apply our work in such a way to where we thrive and we unfold and we just maximize our potential. That's really what I'm after in what I do and why I do what I do, because when I was in that cube, which I call my pit, it caused me to start doing some deep soul searching and starting to get real clear on what my gifts and talents really were. What is the difference that I really wanted to make in the world? How did I want to use my gifts and talents? And how could I add value? And how could I connect with people on a deeper level using what I had right then and there? And not, because to get out of the pit, you can only apply your gifts and talents to your present circumstance. You can't say, well, I will do better, or I'll show up more, or I'll be on time, or I'll dress better when I get promoted. Because if you wait for it then, it ain't ever going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that was something that I had to, get through my head. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get that through? What was the process? Was it a lot of personal development? Was it a lot of prayer? Was it a lot of just showing up before you were ready? What was the process to get you there?
So to be transparent, the process to get me there, prior to my deep, deep pit, I had worked in tech for a bit, but I knew that I wanted to do something more because I had a chemistry degree, for crying out loud. So I wanted to do something with it. So I made a leap in transition industries, but in so doing, I took a pretty substantial pay cut. And thankfully, my husband was okay with us taking that leap of faith, but girl, it hurt because it was the height of the recession. We were supporting a few households, and we had lost a parent to cancer. And so it was just everything's piling up. And I'm like, and I chose now of all times, with student loans, all that stuff, I chose now to make that leap and be in this pit. So, come on, God, what's the timing on this? So, anyhow, in that time, though, I became really, really depressed, and it even translated to my wardrobe, which those that know me and know me well, they know I like to dress. And I showed up one day in these hideous yoga pants. I don't even think they were really yoga pants. I think it was pre-yoga pants. They were just stretch knit leggings. They were ugly and hideous. I don't know where I got them from. And these ugly sneakers that it was a hot mess. I don't know how I made it out of bed. But anyhow, I'm telling you all of this because really what snapped me out of my stupor, because I was in a hypnotic trance of not being enough, not feeling good enough, being depressed, feeling like I was way undervalued. I'm I've got degree upon degrees. I've got work experience. Why am I making pennies on a dollar? And what snapped me out of it was the day my boss at the time, she pulled me to the side, and thank God for her. Thank God for Tiana, because she pulled me to the side, and she said, Ryan, what the heck are you wearing? What is wrong with you? And she said, we need to talk. Come to my office. Now, I'm not sure, Steve, have you ever heard that phrase used by one of your bosses?
It doesn't seem to always be a great phrase.
No. No. The last time I heard we need to talk, that came from an ex-boyfriend. So I thought, holy smokes, this is surely going to be the end, and I'm about to get fired. And that's really what changed the game for me. And I'm grateful that I had grace and that she did not put me on a performance plan, but she did kind of smack me around and was like, if you don't go home right now and change, you need to go figure this out. And so that was the longest car drive I ever had. But it caused me to do something, and this is one of the modules in one of my programs, is radical honesty. And too often, too many folks, and women that I've counseled and men that I've worked with and others and business owners, we allow those that we care about to just walk around in a stupor instead of being radically honest. And even with ourselves, it's those moments that are the most painful, the most raw, the most vulnerable, where you got to get real. That's what changed the game for me. I had to quit faking the funk. I had to admit that, yeah, I'm depressed. And, yeah, I'm not showing up. And, yeah, I'm kind of halfway stepping right now. I'm not bringing my full self to the table because I feel like this work's below me. And you know what? If I keep up this attitude, she just told you, you're about to get fired. So I had to have a legit conversation with myself in that rearview mirror. And I don't know if you've ever had the time to have a legit conversation with yourself in the rearview mirror.
Yes. Yes. Those conversations are, it's crazy because I was just speaking the other day on stretching mentally at this conference called the Stretch Conference. And someone asked me a question very much similar to the one I asked you, and they were just, my answer was very similar, and it was that, you know, before you go to the greatest coach, the greatest mentor, you got to start with you. You got to make that decision to make that change. Nobody else in life can make that decision for you. And I think that's very key and important what you said, that you had to take inventory and look at yourself and say, this is not good, this is not right. And that takes power, that takes courage, that takes strength to do those type of things, have those conversations. And I think that, especially after what you said, you chose to be in the pit, you know, like, and I appreciate the value that you're bringing here, because what you're saying and what you're doing is taking personal responsibility. So many people don't, and even I don't even know that people are listening as intently as they need to at the words that you're using. I am, because it's showing that you're like, nobody can do this, not my husband, not my parents, not my sisters, nobody but me can get up here and do it and change my life. And I appreciate that, and I wanted to put a pin right there because that's important for people to know. And so we are at the point where your boss just told you that, and you had that conversation with yourself. And so, and those conversations are not easy.
Oh, my gosh. That was the hardest conversation ever, because it's easy to tell everybody else that their stuff stinks. And I was like, no, all my stuff smells like roses. What do you mean? There's something wrong with me. I got to go fix this. So, yeah, that was really, really tough. And when you have the courage, though, to take ownership and responsibility, that's when the game changed. That's when my game changed. And that was the key to survival in a toxic environment. So those of you that are struggling right now and you feel like there's so much toxicity in your current department, or dealing with certain things, or bosses, or just stressful things, you have a choice to make. You can choose how you decide to show up in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the toxicity. And that's really what changed it for me. And so that's when I made a conscious decision. When I took off and burned those hideous leggings, I made a vow to myself that, one, I would never be caught dead in that stuff again. 2, when I put on my new outfit and I looked at myself and I, freshened my makeup after I bawled my eyes out like a little baby, I made a decision that day, and I was like, this is the woman that's going to start showing up. I don't know who she is yet. I don't have a name for her yet. I don't know what her role is going to be here yet, but she's somebody. And this is who I'm going to bring to the table, even if I don't feel like it. And making that kind of conscious, deliberate decision. And so by showing up that way and in, day out, that's when my whole world began to transform right in front of my eyes. And it happened so subtly at first that I wasn't even aware, but it really, when you think about it from a timeline perspective, it was really a rather short amount of time. Within less than a year, things had shifted in such a way to where I decided to put my whole heart and soul into everything I did, even if it was something as minuscule as stuffing binders or getting the quote-unquote coffees. No matter what the task was, I decided to be joyful. I decided to do it the best of my ability and to put my whole heart and soul into it. And by making a purposeful choice and having the power of choosing how I decide to show up no matter the circumstance, that's when the game changed and people began to notice. And there was one evening where I decided to stay a little bit later to finish up a few things because I wanted to be just right, and the client had begun to notice, as well as my internal clients. And one of the young ladies, she said, Ryan, I've noticed something, and you're doing something, and there's an opening, and I think you should go for it. And Stevie, at the time, to be honest, even though I'd made these conscious choices and deliberate decisions, my self-confidence was still in the toilet, and I began to second-guess myself. So I was like, oh, really, me? You think I should go for it? I should do that? And she said, of course. She's like, better yet, I'll do you one better. I'm going to mention your name to the hiring manager, and I'll put in a good word for you. And that changed my life. And it actually was a young woman who was out in North Carolina, and she showed me so much grace. We became friends. When my husband and I had to come out for the interview, she put us up in her home. She took me in. I knew not a soul in North Carolina, and Nikki took us in, and she was just so kind. And that changed everything for me. So sometimes, even when your confidence is in the toilet, if you can make the conscious and deliberate decisions, people start to come across your way that want to help you. But people only want to help people that want to help themselves is the other thing that I've observed. So that promotion is really what brought my husband and I to North Carolina. And you fast forward, I was on fire after that point. And so I basically went from the equivalent of the mailroom to the boardroom. And in a matter of like 5 years, I had 5 promotions in 5 years. I went on to close over $250 million in business. And that takes inspirational leadership. And that took tremendous support from a whole team. But people, again, are only willing to help people that, one, they see can help themselves, that are willing to invest themselves. And, yes, I began to invest in myself once my awareness increased, once my skill set increased, and once I knew I wanted to start breaking into new thresholds. I did invest in a personal coach, and that took me to a whole other level. And then I invested in some additional training, which got me to where I am now, because I had to figure out what the heck happened. Because how does someone within 5 years get 5 promotions, and how do you go from earning $30,000 to over $250,000 and closing $250 million? My head had exploded. I didn't know what I had done. So that's why I began to work and study folks like Bob Proctor and others to really uncover what happened so that I could teach others.
That's awesome. That is all of that is awesome, because I love the continued thread of self-responsibility, because I just think so many people don't take responsibility for themselves. They blame it on the black man, the white man, Chinese man, Asian man, Japanese. They don't bring it on themselves. And that is that's the epitome of where it starts. Like the decision for you to say and to make it happen and to go for what you saw yourself, even before you saw yourself, because what you were saying was that you were still in the depressed state when all this was going on. And somebody else saw enough value in you to help you see it in yourself. And that's amazing. I think that you do have to surround yourself around people who see more for you, and the key word that you use today is investment. You invested in yourself, because a lot of people think that the tickets to the next level are free, and I always say they're not free, nor are they cheap.
Exactly. But you have to be willing to do your work. You have to be willing to do the work, whether it's sweat equity, it's the time, it's being consistent and diligent in the little things, even the things that you write off. Because I've realized that through my career, it actually wasn't the really big things, because the big moments don't happen unless you make good decisions with those small things every day and being consistent. It's showing up on time. It's the way you deliver various emails. It's how you communicate to others. It's your essence. It's your core. It's how you choose to show up moment to moment. That's what really opens the doors. And it's also making a conscious decision to not let anything get in your way, because it would have been really easy for me to say that, I can't possibly do this because I'm black and I'm a woman, and there's no way that I can move ahead. And I don't see anyone else that looks like me, so that's my out. I'm not going to go for it. If anything, that gave me fire to say, I don't see anyone that looks like me yet, because it's for me to do. So making those decisions and being conscious and deliberate, and for some people, you're going to be the example. They won't see anyone else. So you have to set the tone, and that's uncomfortable. It can be scary. It can be terrifying. But by making the investments, it'll give you the confidence in yourself to keep doing it. And that's the best money that I've ever invested was in listening to personal development CDs. And if I knew, like when I knew I was going to transition departments, I didn't just say, okay, well, I'm going to break back into business development and sales. I said, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I want to be the best. So I actually invested and studied scripts and tapes and everything possible so that way I could not be denied. You could look at my results. I went on a nice tangent there.
I didn't say anything.
I get so excited.
I didn't say anything because that's almost like if we were on the stage, it would have been a drop the mic moment. Cause I just didn't say anything for that purpose. People talk about results. Yeah, shoot. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And if you want to be good, you know, as they say, right, Stevie, by their fruits you shall know them. So if you want to be good, if you want to be a baker, go study with the best people, the best patisseries. Like if you want to do whatever you want to do, go learn from the best and apply what makes sense for you. And also to get comfortable with, I studied with, like, the number one salesperson. I would take her to lunch. I'd pick her brain, which was something that other people were not doing. And I was like, I don't know why y'all ain't doing this, but I'm going to do it because I could see where I wanted to go. I could see how her teams would respond to her. But I also knew the beauty of, and the more I started to embrace my authenticity, right? So you can study with the best, but you still got to be you. You know, if that makes sense, right? Like you can study with the best, but it's like take what makes sense, distill it down, but still make it your own because there's a beauty and a magic that happens when we bring ourselves to the table that it's just undeniable and unmistakable. And it's attractive. It's good. It feels good. And people are just like magnetized and just drawn to it. So I want to encourage everyone, if you are going to make investments in study, make sure you study, get the systems down, and then once you start to get it, put yourself into it. Bring your heart into it because with heart, you can accomplish so much when you put some heart and passion into what you're doing because that's what's going to carry you over in those moments of self-doubt or the uncertainty when you start to ascend in new areas of your career or your life or your business. It'll help give you that courage. And courage is not the absence of fear, as you know, some may know. It's actually the presence of it, but making moves to keep moving forward no matter what. But bring yourself because there's a magic in you, and it needs to show up. We need to see it.
That's right. Like I say, rock your it factor.
Yes.
So find your it, let it go. Yes. And let's transition up to how you're rocking your it factor. You have some amazing things going on that are globally, that are nationally. So let's talk about what's up for you and how you're showing up.
Absolutely, Stevie. Well, first and foremost, I'm on this beautiful podcast, so I'm just thrilled to be here with you. And most recently, we had an opportunity to collaborate on an exciting adventure where we were recognized by Darren Hardy, Savvy Careerists. It was extremely exciting. Out of hundreds of thousands of people and hundreds of submissions, we cracked the top 10. We had over 2,000 views and shares of our post and get emotional. And just it was a huge honor because Darren Hardy, he's a legend in the personal development space. He was the editor-in-chief of Success Magazine. So someone that studied success with the most successful people in the world, from Robert Kiyosaki to Tony Robbins and Barbara Corcoran and countless others. I mean, to be recognized by him and his team, that was a huge honor. And so that just wrapped up on Sunday. And although we did not get the top spot, I learned so much along that journey, and it caused us to be more courageous, and my team and my husband and I to step out and do new things with social media and digital marketing. So that caused me to stretch and grow, so that was exciting. What else is coming up down the pipe? So I've got a passion. I love corporate America, so those of you that may have any doubts, I really am a big fan because there's no other institution really that can be such a great training ground for entrepreneurism, especially if you're just coming out of college. It's a great run for those of you that might need some additional training. I know I needed it. So that being said, one of the things that I'm most passionate about is also diversity issues and the idea of sponsorship and mentorship and the importance, because no one achieves anything great on their own. There was no way I was going to be promoted just on my own merits, just me tooting my own horn. I actually had to enlist the support of others and get others to believe in me, and that's really what changed the game. It's those relationships, because what I learned and what I wrote in one of my articles in the Huffington Post was why working twice as hard it could be holding you back from six figures, is that I learned and uncovered that it really wasn't a matter of me just working hard. Really the strength was and the ability to get promoted happened through connections and relationships and actually investing your time in the right activities and not just being busy for busy's sake, but being thoughtful and deliberate and really building those relationships with sponsors and mentors and taking the time to invest in them just like they're willing to invest in you. So I say all that in a long-winded way that if you are in the D.C. area, September 12th, catch us at Mercer. What a blessing. I'm so excited because Mercer is the world's largest human resources consulting firm, and I'll be sitting on a panel alongside folks like Kim Casey, who's a great professor at American University on entrepreneurism. She recently went to Pakistan to teach some women over there on how to start their own businesses. We'll also be on that panel with some of the heads of diversity and inclusion from Fannie Mae. So it's going to be a dynamic event. You can still get tickets, and I'll make sure to provide the links and information. So if you want to join us, catch us there on September 12th, and the exact times will be there. And the following day, we're doing a workshop in D.C. about Ignite Your Genius. So I'm really excited, and that is going to be great for women who are entrepreneurs or you're a corporate professional and you just want to uncover your genius. So we'll be doing everything from personal branding to how to find your best sales, just mindset, and how to sell without selling your soul so it can actually feel good. You'll be uncovering your brand, marketing tactics, basically everything you need to get a nice reset and reboot before we kick off in 2018. So this is going to be a dynamic event. There's some special early bird pricing. We only have 20 seats left. We've already sold quite a few. So if you want to catch a seat, make sure to find the links and check that out. And then later in the month, I'll be a featured expert panelist at the International Christian Businesswomen's Conference, which will be featured here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and that'll be September 29th and the 30th. And then I'll be speaking about how to sell and making selling to where you're not selling your soul, but it's really sales is a soul connection. And anyone that says that you're not in sales, you're lying, because if you've convinced your kids to go to bed before 9 o'clock, you're a master salesperson. If you can convince someone to, get your girlfriends to all get together to go on that girls trip, you are a salesperson. If you have been able to do anything of influence and persuasion, you are in sales, and that includes everybody. So it's just helping you uncover the best process and ways to do it so that way you can get your point across in a way that feels authentic, congruent, and can help you achieve your goals. So I'm really, really excited about all of this to come, and also be doing a couple other speaking engagements in between. So that was a mouthful, Stevie.
That's awesome. That's some awesome work. And I am excited, listeners, that Ryan has asked you to collaborate in 2018. So God is good. I appreciate you for that, Ryan, because I'm all about collaboration.
I am so excited to collaborate with you, and it was a ball to work with you on the hashtag Create Your Greatness Challenge. And Stevie, you're just a mastermind over there. I'm just grateful that we're also both members of Sim City, so it's just a great organization.
Yes. Yeah. So I always ask a lot of my clients who have a lot to pour to do this before we leave the show. First off, I want to thank you for being here today. You truly are a woman of vision, truly are a woman of power, truly are a woman of purpose, and I think that's great. So thank you. And I want to have you if anything that you are like, Stevie, we have got to get this out before we leave today.
Ooh, Stevie, it's just been pure joy, and I'll never forget, like, our first conversation. But as I think about that, like, the one thing I would say is, baby, be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. And be the most awesome, loving, kind version of yourself, because if you love yourself, you will invest in yourself, and you will become all that you're meant to become. When I say be yourself, it does not mean stay stagnant with where you are or be complacent with where you are, but bringing the best of the core things that make you you and allowing the world to get a sneak peek and a taste of it.
Awesomeness. And we cannot leave without getting your contact information.
Absolutely. So those of you, if you enjoyed our chat today, and I'm so honored to be here, you can find me at Savvy Careerists on Instagram. So I might be doing some Insta stories, getting better with that. You can find me on Twitter at Savvy Careerists, and you can find us in our free Facebook group, Savvy Careerists, where you can consciously create your ultimate career. I'm all about making deliberate decisions, if you haven't gathered. So I'm all for people consciously choosing what they do instead of just walking around in a stupor. So find us there, and those are the best ways to connect with me, and I look forward to connecting with you there.
Awesomeness. We have a couple more things to do before we leave. The first one is to honor our Spotlight business. For this week, that is the McAllister experience. I'm so excited I can't talk, y'all. It's a for plus-size women, sizes 1X to 7X in select styles. And you can go to the McAllisterExperience.com, again, the McAllisterExperience.com, or the McAllisterExperience.myshopify.com, the McAllisterExperience.myshopify.com. I love that word, Shopify. Yes.
Me too. That's great marketing and branding, right?
Yes. Or find them on Facebook for your shopping experience. They have generously given a discount code for everybody who supports this show, and that is 5 off. So 5 OFF is that discount code. You can go shopping with the McAllister Experience. So, again, this is Stevie Aisha Mills, I'll say it today, from the great state of North Carolina. And I am currently positioned in Roanoke, Virginia. Super duper uber excited to have had this conversation. Ryan has, oh my gosh, if I ever go back in corporate America, I don't know if that'll ever happen. But, if God says go back, I am going to hire her as my careerist so we can get this done. Because I need the right job. I can't go back to any job.
No. It's all about thriving. More than just surviving your corporate role. So if you need some support with that, I'm your girl. Yeah. I love you up there in Virginia. Oh, man. Can't wait till we get together.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. And we always say here, don't have a great day. I don't believe in having great days. I believe in making them great. So, go forth and make your day great. If you ever need to contact me, all you need to do is to spell my first name correctly, Stevii, not I-E, but I-I. You can find me at Stevie.com, all over social media, and, of course, right back here on the conversation. If you want to connect with us live and in person, September 22nd, we'll be at Experience Atlanta. Got to get your tickets at Stevie.com. Talk to you soon. Hugs and love. Thank you again, Ryan. Make it a great day.
Thank you. Bye.